Hi, Michelle Glass here, and welcome back to another one of our Chapter 6, Lecture 6 episodes. Our conversation in this video is about the compact bone versus that spongy bone. Compact bone is going to be characterized by being organized in these osteon units. So an osteon unit is a circular unit. When I look at it, all I really see is a tree stump. Remember, our compact bone is our outermost layer of bone when we're looking at our bone anatomy. The real job of the compact bone is going to be to protect, it's providing support, and it's resisting stress. Those osteon units are lined up end to end, so that's creating a very strong structure. So if we look at like a straw as an example of an osteon unit, there's a lot of strength. I am having a hard time squishing one end of my straw to the other end of the straw, but notice I can bend it if I apply pressure in the middle. So if I apply pressure in the middle, I can do a lot of damage there, but if I'm trying to just get one end next to the other, I'm not able to do that in this direction. Your compact bone is going to be thickest where stress is applied, and also where that stress is limited in the number of directions. So the signature feature of the osteon or the compact bone is that we're getting strength end to end, but we're not getting strength in multiple directions in the same way that we'll see we get when we look at that spongy or trabecular bone. Now, looking at our structure here in a little bit more detail, you have at the center of each osteon unit what's called the central canal. That's going to be lined with endosteum, and it's going to be a passageway for blood vessels and nerves. Remember, our cells of our bone are living, and so that means they need access to oxygen and nutrients from the bloodstream, and they also need to get rid of waste products via the bloodstream. You have then these concentric lamellae pattern. So lamellae is talking about the pattern of how the bone is laid down. So notice that surrounding that central canal, you get layer and layer and layer and layer of those osteocytes. We will be seeing that those osteocytes are going to be connected to each other through little passageways called caniculi. So our osteon, our compact bone, can be described as having a concentric lamellae pattern of matrix, bony matrix. Each one of those cells, those osteocytes, remember I told you they're in those little pockets called lacunae for plural or lacuna for singular. This is space for that cell to live because remember that bony matrix is pretty hard, so you need some room there for your cells. You have different types of lamellae. So in addition to the concentric, which is going to be that pattern of those cells positioned in circular rings away from that central canal, you have what's called interstitial lamellae. So that's going to be filling up those spaces in between our osteon units. And then you have the circumferential lamellae, which is going to be this outer kind of packeting of bony matrix. It's surrounding the outside and the inside of our compact bone. It's going to be located near both the periosteum and the endosteum. So it's the circumference of the bone, the outer circumference and the inner circumference. When we talk about our spongy bone, we've called it already trabecular bone. That name can be used for the type of lamellae. So spongy bone has a trabecular lamellae, which remember that's our pattern of how the matrix is laid down. It's called this because all of those extensions of the bone are referred to as trabeculae or struts. The benefit of the spongy bone is to reduce the weight of the skeleton, but also provide strength in multiple directions instead of just that one way that we get with our osteons. In addition, because our spongy bone is lining our medullary cavity, it's helping to protect those developing blood cells. And then another signature thing to look at is there's no osteon unit here when we're looking at the microscopic view of the spongy bone. Remember that this tissue is surrounded by endosteum. So each one of those struts, those extensions of the spongy bone, are surrounded by that connective tissue layer called endosteum. And that's it for now.